So listen, I want to talk about the big path here now again to de-escalating actual contact. So we have a 4-stage plan that we want to first connect, then build rapport, then influence behavior, and then achieve a worthwhile goal. This is what we're trying to do here in the next half hour to give you some path on that.
Palm pepper spray has recently reformulated for even more effect when you bless the deserving with the hot sauce. Palm is what I use between a harsh word and a gun and encourage everyone to do likewise.
So this last one that ends in a gunfight, our big idea number one is don't belittle and demean people. This is rule number one for de-escalation. If you belittle and demean people, you are escalating conflicts. So again, treat people with respect, even people who you think are doing bad things. Can I be really frank in this, again, in this environment where I know a lot of the folks who attend this kind of conference lean right politically? When you call people names on the other side of the political aisle, you are not de-escalating conflicts. You're making it worse. So you're never going to win friends by calling people libtards. I hate that word. I got to be real, I hate that word. You're never going to win friends calling someone a democrat. You're never going to be able to de-escalate conflicts doing that kind of thing. I don't mind what your personal political persuasions are, but I'm saying a life of de-escalation respects people as bearers of the image of God as human beings. The bearers of the image of God as human beings of value, worth, and dignity. Even if you're not, so that comes from my Christian worldview. If you're not a Christian, that's cool with me too. I mean, it's not, but you get my point. I love you too much to be okay with it, but I'm okay with it. You get my point? Okay? So what I want to do here in any chance that I can to de-escalate a conflict is, first of all, I have to connect with you as a human being. First, I have to know you. Second thing, I have to build some rapport. And we're not on opposite sides here in fighting. We're actually on the same side here trying to achieve a goal. That's how I build rapport. Then I can start to influence behavior. And we talk about the crawl, walk, run modality here. So if I can start to influence behavior, a little influence, just influence a little bit of behavior, that's a good thing, rather than go for the whole thing in one bite. Then I can achieve a worthwhile goal, which is, again, talking someone down, okay? But that has a couple of prerequisites. Number one, the prerequisite has to have significant self-worth and self-control. So in order to de-escalate, you have to have self-control, and you have to have fantastic self-worth. So if you can't de-escalate, then you're probably the one needing de-escalation. If you allow them and their behavior to escalate you to the point that you have to defend your ego, then that's an internal emotional fitness problem. And all of us could probably use some time in therapy. Would you agree? I know some people are like, well, I mean, that's for broken people. Like all of us. And we've done a lot of therapy in the Korea family, okay? And so listen, I think everybody could use a good year of therapy. And I don't say that flippantly. I really say that honestly, to work on your junk. Okay? You cannot allow the other person to dictate your emotions or your social position, and I will be real. A high skill set allows us to have effective margins for safety while negotiating. In 14 years as a vocational pastor, I got to deal with people with significant mental illnesses in the homeless population very regularly. Because people, a lot of times those folks will show up at church because they want a handout, they want to see if you'll give them some money, they want some help with things, whatever, okay? And as a pastor, cool. Because I had a high level of skill, because again, I have significant empty-handed skills, I'm carrying my tools, I know that I'm good with a handgun, and I've got all that on me, I can engage with proximity and do so in a way that doesn't risk my personal safety, in a way that if you don't have that skill set, you can't do. In other words, if I know for sure if this guy swings a punch at me, it's not going to devastate me, I probably have the skill set to slip it and keep it from landing, and I can control this guy almost certainly. And get him far enough off of me to either bless him with the hot sauce or put the fight where I'm comfortable with it. Or delay it. But if you don't have those skills and you go, man, if that guy punches me, I'm going to the hospital, well, then you can't do those things. This is my plug for getting good training and having a high level of skills. And I'm not saying that you have to take big risks, but I will tell you, so I hear this all the time, and some people will talk about, in some of the circles in kind of the meat-eating world of self-defense, they're like, somebody approaches you and needs some gas or something like that, and you go, I don't got nothing for you, get away from me. And that's some people's way. I'm like, look, I'm sorry, as a personal faith commitment, as a guy who tries to follow Jesus, I can't live like that. I have a faith commitment that Jesus tells me I have to help the marginalized, the oppressed. I have to help the poor. I have to. I can't do otherwise. Now, again, I'm not imposing that on you, but because it is imposed on me, somebody comes up to me at the gas station and says, I'm sorry, sir, can you help me out? I'm really hungry. Do you have $1? I can't go, get away from me. I ain't got nothing for you. I can't do that. I have to say, hey, do me a favor. That's close enough. Thank you. It's not you. It's me, man. You're hungry? Cool, man. I tell you what, as soon as I'm done pumping gas, let's go inside and I'll buy you a meal. And you'll find out real quick if they're actually hungry. Well, actually, I kind of just ate, but I really need $1. Oh, so you lied to me. That's what's up. Now we're talking about a very different thing. Hey, sir, I'm sorry. We just ran out of gas, and I was wondering if maybe you could help me with a few dollars for gas. Tell you what, man, as soon as I'm done pumping my gas, get your car and pull it up around here. Is it running? Just pull it up around here, and as soon as I'm done, I'll pull forward and we'll put some gas in your car. You'll find out real quick if he actually needs gas. If he actually does, oh, thank you so much. Man, I'm so sorry to ask. No, I get it. I understand. No, I'm happy to help. But I have a high skill set in order to do that. And again, that's a personal faith commitment. I'm not saying you have to do that. I'm saying please don't be a jerk too, okay? Because you do find people that are actually down on their luck. So don't defend your ego. Prerequisite number 2 is you have to understand people. You don't need a PhD in psychology, but you need a basic understanding of human psychology and why people do what they do. You realize unless you are a total psychopath, which total psychopaths do exist, unless you're a total psychopath, though, everyone is the hero of their own story. And everyone does what makes sense to them in the moment. So they are the center of their story, and what they are doing makes sense to them. Now, it may not make sense to you, and you may not agree with it, but once you recognize that it does make sense to them, and they are the center of their story, and they are the hero in their story, then you can start to find where they are in their story. Now, there's a big difference here between sympathy and empathy, okay? So sympathy is feeling sorry for someone. Empathy is feeling with someone. So when somebody says, oh, I do the thing, oh, I pity you. Oh, that stinks for you, but you've kind of earned that. Empathy, on the other hand, is, that sounds really hard. How can I help? So I'm feeling with you rather than feeling for you. Okay? And showing people empathy always helps in de-escalation. I'm telling you, we're going to talk about this with the LEAPS method a little bit. If I can find why they feel the way that they feel and let them explain that and join them in that, I may not have ever had the same experience, but let's say we go back to the instance again of somebody who's a little agitated and escalated because they're at the convenience store and they're broke and they're hungry. I may not be broke and hungry right now, but do I remember having more money than month? Do I remember that time where I didn't have enough? And how hard that could be, and how to eat my ego, and maybe I've got other problems, and I go, hey, man, I've been there myself. I understand that pain. Let me help you through that a little bit. Or a guy who's pissed off, and he cuts you off in traffic, and then he flips you the bird and those things. You got to decide in that moment, am I going to accept that invitation to a fight? I don't know what's going on in that guy's life. Might have just got fired from his job. Maybe, his wife just got diagnosed with cancer. Maybe something bad has happened in his life. I don't know what's happening in his life. All right, dude, have a good day. I'm not going to have that fight. I'm just going to let it go. It takes you being a big person and understanding a little bit of human psychology. And respect goes a long way. I know when people say respect is earned. No. I want you to change that in your mind. Respect is given by default and can be lost by behavior, but it's given by default. Respect and care for people is not earned, it's given. I care for all people as bearers of the image of God. That's my own personal worldview. But even if you don't share that worldview, as uniquely valuable and dignified. And all people have the right to be. And so I'll treat them with that respect from that. And then from there, we can build some rapport and do some things, okay?